been scouring the socials and asking around, and I'm delighted to say that the team are none the wiser about us chatting with anyone else. And the meeting went well, too. I know. I'm amazing. You're welcome.
Right, I'm afraid to say that we've had a major issue on the production line earlier this week, and the entire development package for the weekend has failed. Any redevelopments will need to be ordered from the R&D screen.
Hello, welcome to Montreal, welcome to Canada. It's free practice time and the opportunity to get your eye in and keep your car out of the Wall of Champions.
OK, we need a few solid laps here to help us calculate a good race strategy. Programme complete and a job well done. We got some excellent data with that run, so come on back to the garage and I can take you through the numbers. OK, we can take you this lap.
And that's it. Practice is officially over.
We need to be sure we can manage the tyres through a lap, so try to keep the wear down through each corner. Be especially careful accelerating on corner exit. Okay, test complete, and that was a really good job indeed. We got a lot of valuable information out of that. Well done. Understood. Stopping this lap.
Sadly, it's time to say goodbye as free practice is
Okay, on this test I want you to focus on managing your ERS. It's really important for our overall race pace, and so a reminder that you've got modes to play with in your MFD. See how they feel for you and see how different modes drain the battery. Nice one. Okay, reminder, a neat way to recharge the batteries by lifting at certain points when you feel you can and by gentle braking. Try those this lap and see how you get on. Program complete and a job well done. We got some excellent data with that run, so come on back to the garage and I can take you through the numbers. Confirmed, we'll receive you at the end of this lap.
What an incredible practice session. Welcome back, everybody. We're here in Canada at the wonderful Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Who's going to come out fastest of all in the next hour? Yes, it's time for qualifying. Goodbye for now then, but really we're just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow. Montreal is not only the second largest French-speaking city in the world, but it's home since 1978 to the Canadian Grand Prix. The name Villeneuve looms large over this one, but who can write their own legends today? With top speeds of around 210 miles per hour heading into the overtaking opportunity of turn 13, the 2.7 miles of the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve are some of the quickest on the Formula One calendar. There are 14 corners in total, with 60% of the lap taken at full throttle, and average speeds clock in at about 130 miles per hour. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Ace lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Oscar Piastri, Norris, Hamilton, Russell, Fernando Alonso, Leclerc, Sainz, Gasly, Perez, Ocon, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Albon, Hülkenberg, Bottas, Stroll, and Logan Sargent. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. And joining me in the commentary box once again, Naomi Schiff. Hi, Gnomes. Now, Ant, you know us. Professionals as we are, we don't listen to rumours all the time, just some of the time. And in the case of this driver, I think we were right to listen to those rumours because they were true.
Well, every driver has their own characteristics and how they deal with these situations, but a lot of it may have to do with whether the seat they're in currently is secured or not. And I would say to these drivers, try not to think too much about it. Make sure you focus on your performances on track, because that's what's going to make the difference.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone. Great work, that's a new fastest lap of the race. No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving. the pack, that's P1. And Verstappen's behind. Okay, they're on fresh hards. Your pit window opens in 5 laps time. 5 laps. All right, 16 laps to go. We're approaching the pit window now, and you're going to be on hards next time. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 19.0 seconds. Gap to your teammate behind, 20.6 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. They're in 19th place. Time last lap, 1:17.8. Okay, copy that. Okay, mate, we've got some clear track around us now, so let's use it and make this next lap a quick one. Let's go. Okay, nice work. Really good job with that target, mate. In this lap, in this lap. Push now. Okay, pit in this lap, and remember the speed limit. We'll be penalised if we exceed it. Keep that in mind as you approach. Pitting this lap then. Come into the pits at the end of this lap. Okay, off we go, back into the race. Perfect job on the turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one. Up to speed now, let's get some heat into those tyres. Good work, we're in P4. Lando's ahead of you now. Okay, they're on fresh hards. Perez behind. Okay, they're on fresh hards. Okay, so gap to the leader, 7.2 seconds. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go. 9 laps to go. Might experience some understeer now that you're in the wake of the car ahead. Try to get past as soon as possible. You need to slow down before hitting the corners. We don't want to get a penalty. Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. We're increasing our gap on the car behind by around a second a lap. afraid you've been given a time penalty for that last incident, mate. Okay, mate, your lap times are all over the place right now. We've got to have consistency. Come on, we can do better than this. Right, let's have you in at the end of this lap, please. You're in first position, front of the pack. Verstappen behind you now. They're on fresh mediums. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. 4 laps remaining. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 36.4 seconds. Okay, they're on fresh hards. They're in 19th place. And the time last lap, 1 minute 17.7. Nice work, you smashed it. Really good job on hitting that target, mate. Okay, so all of our tyre pressure data is currently reading 0. Assuming they still look inflated to you, we're going to guess that it's just a bad sensor. Shouldn't be anything to worry about. That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done. Gap to your teammate behind, 40.3 seconds. Okay, this is your final lap of the race. Caution, caution. Someone's come off ahead of you. There's a yellow flag ahead. The track is clear, green flag.
Nice one. Very lovely drive. On to the next one.
Ah, fantastic drive. That's just fantastic. Amazing. You deserved that race win. Well done, mate.
A truly magnificent drive and a great performance from the entire team to secure victory here in Canada.
And they led every single lap of the race. It was a light to flag victory, and that is total dominance.
So here they come now, out onto the podium. It's thrilling to see this team go toe-to-toe with the best in the sport and come out on top. What a superb victory for the Sauber team. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out?